The matter was postponed in absentia of the accused and legal counsel. In a statement from the National Prosecuting Authority, all parties agreed to the provisional postponement to allow for pre-trial issues to be resolved. They include Thales' review application on the racketeering charges, as well as its application for further documentation from the state. The NPA further states that it needs clarity on the current travel ban imposed by the government due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The representatives for Thales and certain key witnesses would need to travel from abroad to attend the trial. Zuma has expressed his unhappiness with the postponement. A statement from the Jacob Zuma Foundation said that he was the one previously accused by the state of using delaying tactics, but that the former president wanted the trial to proceed in October as initially planned. Let's discuss this further. We're joined now by senior legal journalist Karyn Maughan on Skype. Karyn, thank you for joining us as always. So this has been dragging on for years. It's one of the sagas in this country. The whole country really wants this trial to happen, never mind those involved. Does it sound like the NPA has put forward good reasons why it can't?
Well, one of the NPA's biggest problems, Francis, is that Thales, the French arms company accused of bribing Jacob Zuma in exchange for his protection from a potential investigation of the multi-billion rand arms deal, is currently seeking to challenge the racketeering charge that has been leveled against it by the state. And that is one of the pivotal legal challenges that I think the NPA believes needs to be resolved before this case can progress. Of course, Jacob Zuma suggesting at one stage that he may want to potentially separate the trial or have the matter struck from the roll until such time as this pending application from Thales is finally resolved. But that could take anywhere up to 2 years to complete.
So in light of that, can you assess a statement by the Jacob Zuma Foundation a few days ago saying that the NPA was really the one using the delaying tactics here?
Well, the Jacob Zuma Foundation has come out and made those statements against the backdrop of the former president's postponement in the circumstances. Certainly outside of the Thales matter, the travel restrictions around, for example, COVID, would have had a profound impact on the ability of Thales to send a representative to this case. We know that there are witnesses abroad. We know that there are a number of people, for instance, in Mauritius, who potentially may be called to testify. But, the Jacob Zuma Foundation saying that, outside of this, the former president is now of advanced years. He wants to be able to essentially run with this case. It has been hanging over his head since at least 2003, and he is now ready to proceed with it. And I think that this is one of the instances in which they will push very hard to convince the public that this is unfair, and it is a scenario in which we believe or suspect that he may well argue that in light of the kind of postponements that this Thales application may bring, this case against him should be struck from the roll and reinstated at a later date. But given, as you rightly point out, the tumultuous history of this entire matter, I would be very surprised if the NPA agreed to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, things like travel restrictions, what Thales is doing is out of the NPA's hands. When will there actually be a trial? Is there any idea when it will be about what actually is alleged to have happened? Zuma allegedly receiving a bribe from Thales to protect them from prosecution years back.
Well, the interesting thing is with this racketeering challenge, Francis, racketeering charge against Zuma and Thales really is the most serious charge that they face. It's essentially that they were part of a organized criminal enterprise, and it carries with it a potential 25-year jail term. So far more serious than the 15-year jail term that Zuma and Thales, well, in particular not Thales because it's a company, faces if he is convicted, for example, of corruption, the alleged corruption that he was participating in with Sheikh. So if Thales is successful in this application, in which it basically premises its argument on the fact that there's no evidence, it says, that it knew about Jacob Zuma's alleged corrupt relationship with Shabir Sheikh, that it fundamentally is just accused of, participation in one alleged bribe where It was alleged by the state to have, basically offered Jacob Zuma 500,000 rand a year bribe to protect it from an arms deal inquiry. This cannot be said to be, common cause knowledge of this so-called conspiracy, corrupt conspiracy. If it is successful in that application, it could have quite profound implications for the state's case against Zuma. And whatever happens, it is very likely that either Thales or Zuma, or not Zuma, but the NPA will appeal this, which, it could go all the way to the Constitutional Court, where you have timelines, is this going to be expedited, et cetera, et cetera. So no matter what happens in the initial court hearing of this case, which may even take place this year, it's going to be a very long road before that's finalized. And I would be surprised if this trial proceeding, in the next year or so. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, sure. All right. Thank you. As always, that was senior legal journalist Karyn Maughan. We take a short break. Lots more to come on The Full View. We'll speak to Kasati and later an economist about the massive contraction in our economy seen in the second quarter.
Hello?
Zianda, you are a change management consultant, the person that helps them
That's who I am.
change day.
That's who I am, yes!
Tell me about how you came about changing to Outsurance.
My friends were just like, dude, come to Outsurance. We are happy and we're saving.
How much did you end up saving per month?
$520. So I changed that day.
SMS save to 44211 or call 08 600 60,000 and change a day.
Joe, certified dead, Monday, 20 July. We tried our best in ICU. COVID-19 attacked Joe with vengeance. Joe ignored the symptoms, the dry cough, fever, headache. He possibly infected others. In emergency, we sedated him, intubated and isolated him. We watched for heart failure and collapsed lungs as we drip-fed him through his nose for 2 weeks. Joe thought he was different. He partied hard. He laughed when our president pleaded with us to listen, to stay home, to maintain social distancing, to wash his hands regularly, to wear a mask. Joe is gone. His family remain. They have a memory. And I, his doctor, have his last memory. I'm trying to stop you from dying, but it's killing me. We need you to take care of yourself and respect others. You can stop COVID-19.
Welcome back. Organised Labour has reacted with